What's up, YouTube? It's JackalGoldKick. Now, before I get into the topic of this video, I want to talk about my stance and where I stand on beef and drama because I know I've said more than once on my channel that I'm going to move on from beef and drama and then I go back to it. So I am a flip flopper with this, and it's kind of like the boy who cried wolf type thing. So I'm going to talk about that real quick. The thing with beef and drama is I have said before I'm going to move on from it, but then I go back into it. It's it's difficult, honestly, to be honest, and I still don't really know where I stand on it myself. Because on one hand, the thing that somewhat like what tempts me to come back and do some of these beef and drama videos every now and then, even though I say I'm done with them, is that they get good views, they get good click-through rate, they get good view duration, they do well. The results are always good on them, and the results and views and all that stuff on them that are good, that's what I want from a lot of my other videos. And it does upset me that these kind of videos get more attention than some of the other stuff I do. I really wish it wasn't that way. But I think the reason it is that way is because a lot of humans just are into the drama and beef. That's why the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef was big and other stuff as well. So I think that's what it comes down to. So I don't really know if I can have a definitive stance on where I really stand on beef and drama. I'm never gonna. I guess what I can say about it is I don't want to say confidently something of like what I'm gonna do or where I stand on beef and drama. Because then, what if I do the opposite or make another decision? Like how I said before, I'm done with beef and drama, and then here I am making a video about something related to beef and drama. So I don't know where I'm gonna stand on it for now, but I'm not opposed to it being something that shows up on this channel for the foreseeable future. So that's where I'll stand on it. So that's what I got to say about the beef and drama side of things. And yeah, now let's get into the topic of this video. So TG Venom has returned to YouTube and he called out some people in his live stream, Wrestling Otaku, Kacha. But the main one I'm going to talk about that he called out in the live stream as well was Kadeem the King. So yeah, TG Venom returns and he calls out Kadeem the King. Now there's a question mark in the title because I'll get to that. So TG Venom, me and him, we've been cool, but we've had somewhat of a messy history on my end. I had some stupid beef with him on my end. I said some really dumb things about him. My beef with him is really stupid. I honestly wish it never happened looking back because we have some of the same fans, some of the same type of views on hip hop and stuff, and we're kind of in the same like area of YouTube where like Spear Dude and others are. And it just that stuff never should even happen. I privated all those videos I made about him because they were just really stupid, honestly. And yeah, the last time I talked to TG Venom was like 6 or 5 months ago on Instagram. Before he had his hiatus, he had told me that he's thinking about getting away from YouTube and social media because it's like basically his philosophy is that no matter what you do in terms of making music or making videos, you can never get the recognition and attention that you deserve. And he was just sick of it. And I definitely get where he's coming from because I get that way a lot with my YouTube channel. And there's even certain rappers that get that way, and certain rappers that just stop making music because of that. It makes a lot of sense to me because it is bullshit. Plenty of YouTubers like me, him, and others that make good videos, or like him that make music, they don't get the attention and fame they should get. But then whack ass shit or stuff that's garbage, it gets popular. And that's always sucked. I hate it. I've always hated that as well. So that's what he told me before he had his hiatus. Then he got rid of his Instagram and he disappeared from YouTube for 5 or 6 months. But he recently came back, did a live stream calling out three people: Wrestling Otaku, Kadeem the King, and Kacha. The main one we're talking about is Kadeem the King. Because as you know, I hate Kadeem the King. I cannot stand that guy. I have such a strong hatred for him. Like we may have had history as quote unquote friends, but there's just like a toxic friendship and we've had beef. But honestly, I just don't like the guy because he's very egotistical. He thinks he's better than everyone else. He thinks so many people will take his ideas. And the main thing I hate about him is his ego. I don't like how he thinks he's King Tut of the world and he has an ego. I fucking hate that. I've always hated that about him. And it's like the only reason I kind of, like I said, put up with it is because of the thumbnail job and I was making some money. But it's like, you know what? I'm not going to put up with somebody I don't really care for and their stupid egotistical behavior just because of some cash. Because I found some way to make decent money in other areas. But me and Kadeem the King have had a history since 2016 when we first met each other, and then we did the exhibit collab. Then we had a beef in 2017. Now, to be fair, I did start the beef with him. I will own up to that and admit that. Because I wanted to battle him and beef with him and stuff because I thought it would be like the game at 50 Cent. But I also think it was because, back in those days, it was like, I was in the trailer, I was around my dad. So, I needed sort of like other things to get me out of that kind of bad place. I think that's why I was really obsessed with creepypastas at that point. But also I was pissed at what he said about the Ariana Grande thing. So started beef with him. We beefed, but he was the first one to do some fucked up shit when we were cool. He wants to talk about how I do all this messed up stuff and I do a bunch of bad stuff when we're supposed to be friends. But he's the first one to do some fucked up shit when we were supposed to be quote unquote cool. So when we squashed beef after the first beef in late 2017 or it was early 2018, he made a post on Facebook, and this is when we were cool. He said, "A lot of people thought Jackal Gold Kick overcame and outshined me, but I outshined him." And it was like a shot at me. And I was pissed. I was like, what the fuck, man? I thought we were cool. Then he makes a dissing video called Dissing Jackal Gold Kick the Death Blow. So he's the first one to do some bullshit like that. I may started the beef. I'll own up to that, but he's the one who, started doing like the first kind of bullshit like that when we were supposed to be cool. And, honestly, I don't regret, starting the beef with him though, because I don't like this guy. He's egotistical. I can't be cool with somebody who's egotistical and, just thinks he's King Tut, thinks he's better than everyone else, and always looks at collabs as competitions and has these certain mindsets of, this egotistical crap. It's just like this guy thinks he's top top tier King Tut and stuff. It's stupid. Don't like that about him. TG Venom called him out in this live stream, and I'm so glad that he called out Kadeem the King in this live stream. I was so happy. I was so excited. I was like, yes, a lot of great parts in there, especially when he was talking about the fight stuff. I was like, hell yeah, because I was glad to see somebody else call out Kadeem the King, especially somebody that was bigger than him. I was glad to see it, because Kadeem the King deserves to be called out. He's an egotistical douchebag jerk. And he still owes me 150 bucks, by the way, for the thumbnails. So yeah, TG Venom called him out in his live stream, and a lot of the stuff he said about him, he was talking about how, Kadeem the King, he talked about his history with Kadeem the King and where he first heard of him. He talks about how, Kadeem the King accused him of flagging his TG Venom disses, even though that never even happened. He even accused me of the same thing with his disses, which we'll get to. And, TG Venom showed proof that he never flagged the disses that Kadeem the King made on TG Venom. And then he also talked about how Kadeem the King, he'll get on TG Venom's case, calling him an Oreo and the race thing, but then he won't say anything about Drake, who's a mixed guy who did blackface and stuff like that. And that's a good point when he brought up the Drake stuff. I didn't even think about that with Kadeem the King. And then also, what I'll add in is, as well as discussion, is how, Kadeem the King will claim to hate pedophiles, and a lot of his disses towards certain people call them predators and stuff, but he didn't diss R. Kelly, and that guy's a pedophile. And he made some excuses for his ass and pretty much like whatever the term is, I can't think of at the moment. Sugarcoat it. Yeah, he sugarcoated that shit with his video called "Why I Can't Diss R. Kelly." Random, you know. And some other stuff TG Venom said about Kadeem the King in that live stream is the main thing I really love that he brought up was the fight thing, because to me that deaded the whole thing. The whole beef between me and Kadeem the King and us going back and forth. What made me victor and what deaded the whole thing was the fact that I showed up to fight him and he didn't show up. You know, that's the bottom line right there. And I'm glad TG Venom brought that up. I was so happy, but I was like, yes, he brought that shit up because that motherfucker didn't show up to the fight, because everybody's seen it on YouTube, the video that I did at McDonald's. Kadeem the King was a no-show to fight me. I showed up there, waited for more than an hour. He never showed up. I tried contacting him. He didn't respond. Then like an hour or two later, he responded and said, "I'm playing mind games. I'm in your head. See you soon. I'm going to catch you off guard, this and that." And he never even showed up to fight me there. Still ain't even showed up there at all or showed up to where I live. And he's had the address to where I live and the address at McDonald's since all the way back when I did that video all the way to now. And he's never pulled up and he's never going to put up because he's a fucking coward. I meant to say pull up, not pull up, but put up. But he's never going to pull up because he's a fucking coward. He dodged to fight that one guy in school that TG Venom also mentioned and I mentioned as well. He didn't fight Rocket Dog. Said, "Oh, I was going to pull up, but he might call the cops." It's like he's scared. And then he says that I'm scary and this and that. And he claims he's like a tough guy and stuff, and he's beat up people in some of his story times, but he didn't show up to fight me. That's the bottom line. I showed up there. He didn't show up there. End of story. I showed up there to fight. He didn't show up there to fight. That shows he's a coward and that I won this. That's the whole thing. It's just like, why should anything you say after this be taken seriously? Why should any shit talk you make about me or anything you say about my channel, why should any of that be taken serious when you don't even show up to fight me? You say all this crazy shit in your live streams and videos about me, all this dissing you want to do on me, but you won't come to where I live or where that McDonald's is to say that to my fucking face or take it into damn action and physicality. You're pathetic. You're absolutely pathetic. That's what you are. You're fucking pathetic. You're this guy that just talks trash online, won't do that shit in person. You're a fucking disgrace to Detroit. You're from Detroit, but you're a disgrace to Detroit because a lot of people from Detroit, they don't play games. You know, the whole Detroit versus everybody, how Trick had issues with Rick Ross. A lot of people in Detroit don't play. But you're a disgrace to Detroit because you play games. You talk shit about people online, but when they initiate a meetup, you don't even want to do it. You make a bunch of excuses. The first time when we were supposed to fight, you didn't show up at all and you made a bunch of excuses. Oh, I was asleep. I was tired from work, or I'm playing mind games with you. Then the second time we were supposed to fight, the brawl for it all, he calls it, which he's still initiating now, saying I have 3 months. It's like, fuck your brawl for it all challenge. Fuck your 3 months. We pull up any fucking time. Been waiting for you to pull up since that McDonald's shit. You ain't never gonna pull up. You're just trying to save face because you dodged the fight 2 times. You dodge it again and again and a fucking again. Never gonna fucking show up, man. You're pathetic. You're a coward. You continue to talk this shit online. Another reason that I think he doesn't want to pull up and fight is because it could end all this stuff with the whole beef thing. So he wants to keep it going, because now look, I've talked about him on my channel, and I may have started the beef, but he's talked about me way more than I've talked about him. And plus, honestly, he deserved for me to beef with him because a lot of the bullshit he pulls, like all that bullshit he was doing against Almighty 7AK, trying to ruin his name and slander with stuff that wasn't entirely true, all that shit, messing the community up. A lot of people stopped watching him because of that and didn't like him after that. And he's an egotistical prick, you know, and he's just an asshole with the Justin Bieber seizure thing, Ariana Grande thing. But he didn't show up to fight me, and that just ends it all, deads it all. And he, just like I said, make excuses. The second time around, he was supposed to fight the brawl for it all. He said some shit like, "Oh, I got some family issues going on," or it's been put on hold for now. It's like you make all these excuses. I didn't have any excuses. I was able to go there that day. I remember that fucking day. I was playing Resident Evil 4 Remake, playing as Albert Wesker Mercenaries, and Kadeem the King was calling me and text me now saying, "I'm gonna be there. You gonna be there?" I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be there. Put the shoes on, went out the back door, walked to the way to McDonald's, waited for like 2 hours or 3 hours, and he never showed up. A bunch of fucking games he played because he's a coward ass bitch. And that's what he is. And he tries to clown on me and he tries to twist around like, who waits on another grown man for this many hours? And, it's cold out there. You're stupid. And this stupid guy, it's like, how are you going to clown at me and make some jokes and all this stuff out of it when you didn't even show up to fight me when I did? That deads all of it. That shows you're the coward and I'm not. It's pathetic how he was with that fighting thing and never showing up. And he never ain't going to show up. He's never going to. He's a coward. So I'm glad TG Venom mentioned that shit because it's factual. And I'm glad TG Venom mentioned it. Said, Jackal was willing to fight. I'm so glad TG Venom mentioned it. I was happy because it's like, yes, it's facts. It's fucking facts. I showed up there. He didn't. End of story. That's the whole beef. It's like, how can you say anything else or initiate any future meetup fights when you didn't even show up in the first place? It's like, bottom line, I showed up there. And what's stupid is there's a few people that'll be on his channel. Like I remember when there was supposed to be the second meetup or something, somebody was like, yeah, he don't want it or something. It's like, dude, how can you people even say anything on the side of the fence for him when I'm the fucking one who showed up and he didn't? It's like, I might as well not even showed up there because if I didn't, at the end of the day, you can't win with this guy. He is the worst. Kadeem the King is just the worst, honestly. If I did show up there or if I didn't show up there, he would have said something. It would have been bullshit regardless. Like, let's say I didn't show up there. It would have been the same fucking thing. He probably would have made some shit up that he showed up there and I wasn't there. It probably would have been some BS like that, you know? So yeah, I'm glad TG Venom called out Kadeem the King and destroyed him, because Kadeem the King sucks. And the guy claims he destroys careers and ends people's careers when he fucking doesn't. There's not one person on YouTube or any career he's ever destroyed. Anybody he's dissed, he's never took away their fans. He's never took away their subs. He's never done anything of that caliber. And Kadeem the King, you claim to be so good at YouTube and you're the best in all this, but it's like you may have 2,000 subs, may have a little more subs than I do, but my live streams do better than your live streams do. I have more people show up on my live streams than your live streams. My videos do better than your videos. You want to know what else is better with me compared to you, Kadeem the King? I'm actually monetized on YouTube. Like, let me show you right now, right? Let me show you right now, right? Let me show you this shit. Let me get it out. Some fucking money. Take a look at this. You see this? Cash. Cold hard cash. Look at that. Money, money, money. It's not a lot of money, but I made this off my YouTube channel. This is money I made off of my YouTube channel. Has Kadeem the King ever been able to hold up any money or say, hey, I made some money off YouTube? No. I actually made some cash and money off YouTube. Look at that. May not be a lot, but I've made it. I have this over Kadeem the King. He don't have this. He can never say he can make money on YouTube. How do you have more subs and 2,000 subs compared to me? And you make these connections with these big time people, but never get anywhere. And yet I've been able to make some money off YouTube. I made like $100 something, like a month or two ago off YouTube, and I made some more money again, 2 times in a year. You know, not a lot of money, but it's money. Kadeem the King's never made any kind of cash off his YouTube channel or ever been able to even hold up money for the most part made off his YouTube channel. Money, money, money that I've made off my channel. Kadeem the King has never done that. You got 2,000 subs, more subs than me, but you can't even be monetized yet or make this money. You're pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. It's ridiculous, man. And like I said before, TG Venom even mentioned this. I'm glad he did. Kadeem the King has all these big connections with the Joker and CC Reacts and CHC Temple, but it ain't helping him out at all. I don't see most fans of theirs watching his stuff at all. His views haven't changed at all on his videos. And if I was so irrelevant and I didn't really matter, because I feel like I'm in Kadeem the King side, because if I feel like I was really irrelevant and didn't really matter, and I was nothing compared to Kadeem the King, why would he continue to talk about me on his streams, on his videos, things like that? At least when I talk about him, it's every now and then, and I can monetize it and actually make some money off my shit, unlike Kadeem the fucking King. And at least I can fucking, and I wanted to flex on him with that because it's a flex I can own and have because I can say that. I can actually say, damn, I can look forward to making some damn money off my shit. You can't even make money off your shit doing multiple fucking takes, paying 500, 600, whatever bucks he paid for the Joker interview, and you still can't even blow up. You fucking suck. You fucking suck. But yeah, I'm just glad TG Venom called him out, man. All the stuff he said about him was facts. Glad he called his ass out. And it's good to see TG Venom come back to YouTube. Now, the reason I say TG Venom returns with a question mark is because TG Venom said himself that he doesn't know if he's fully back on YouTube because he's still gonna, do music and make new music, which he did do a Kadeem the King song, it was funny, especially the intro he took of one of Kadeem's streams. He had a picture of Kadeem's face with some googly eyes and some peanuts, and it was funny because I've always thought Kadeem the King has a peanut head. He always wants to talk about my bald head, which is another thing I'll get to real quick. He still wants to mention, how are you balding at 24? How are you so fucking stupid at the age you are? It's like there's a such thing as male pattern baldness. I got it when I was younger. I got it pretty early. That's what it is. That's why I don't really have a lot of hair and why I shave my head because I got male pattern baldness. That's a real fucking thing. But he acts like that's why he's the worst. Because you give him an explanation and he says some other stupid shit. It's like he can call me a coward and say all this crazy shit about me, but then when I show up to fight him, it doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter. But back to what TG Venom was saying, he feels like, he's burnt out and bored of social media and YouTube, and he doesn't know if he's gonna full on come back to YouTube and make, videos like that. So that's where he kind of stands on. That's why there was a question mark. But it's cool to hear him come back in some facet. Now, to speak real quick on the other people he was talking about, when it comes to Kacha, you know, I talked about Katya with TG Venom in the past. I think it's messed up how she was towards him and how she wanted money to work with him. It's like she's not even that big. It's not like you're, like paying her for a collab doesn't even seem worth it because it's like it'd be one thing if it was Eminem or somebody, but Katya's not even really that known. So it's like if a free collab would help her out even, and TG Venom. But I just think it's wrong how she was towards him. And then Wrestling Otaku, I never had any run-ins with him. I do like and watch the Fortune for Shooters channel, but based on the things you said about Wrestling Otaku, it seems like to me, if I had to guess, Wrestling Otaku probably has a porn addiction, because usually guys who are very perverted or just thirsty over women, that's most likely the case. And I think, look, I struggle with a porn addiction as well. I'll admit it, but I do my best at the very least to stay away from it every day possible. And I think all other men who struggle with it and thirst or pervert over women, we got to do better. We got to try to quit this stuff by any means necessary. Even if we fall, have setbacks or relapses or slips, we got to do better and get away from it. Because that kind of behavior of, like, for example, when Gamer Girl, whatever her name was, selling the bathwater and dudes buying it, it's like we got to do better than that. We got to quit this porn, and even if it's tough, we got to start somewhere, man. We got to start somewhere with this shit. So Wrestling Otaku, I think he has a porn addiction, if I had to guess, because he, like TG Venom was saying, basically what started his issue with Wrestling Otaku was TG Venom said something about hentai, and Wrestling Otaku had an issue with it, and that started issues with him. And yeah, so I see why TG Venom has issues with Wrestling Otaku, and he said some other things about him. So I see what he's saying about Wrestling Otaku. That's what I think of the Wrestling Otaku thing. But yeah, the main thing that I want to talk about and I was happy about was him calling out Kadeem the King. I was just so glad somebody else finally called out Kadeem the King, because that guy deserves it. That guy is egotistical. He accuses a lot of people, even me, of taking a lot of his ideas, even though a lot of the stuff he does, plenty of people do. He did movie reviews, plenty of people do movie reviews. He did top tens, so did Watch Mojo, so did plenty of people. Plenty of people did dissing videos before he even came in. And a lot of the stuff he accuses me of copying is bullshit. Like, another thing he does that I have a theory of is I think he's behind sock accounts, because I blocked his channel from commenting, because that's another reason why I also blocked his text me now numbers, because, like, if you're not going to show up to fight me and you're not about action, why do I want to sit here and listen to you talk shit over and over again on messages? It's fucking annoying. So I block him on YouTube, because I don't want to keep hearing that nonsense bullshit. Who wants to keep listening to a bitch talking shit when a bitch ain't gonna pull up to get hit? That's a quick little rap. I don't fucking know, but you know what I mean. It's like, and then you know, blocked his channel. And I feel like he shows up with these sock accounts, because I remember the Strange but Grade live stream. Some account named Kadeem Smith showed up, and I think it was him, because they were mentioning Kadeem stuff. Other various sock accounts that'll show up on videos or streams, they'll mention something related to Kadeem, and it makes me feel like it's him, because he's not above doing this. I mean, back in the day, the fucking guy pretended to be Hobson on Facebook. I think the page is gone now, so I can't necessarily screenshot and stuff. But I remember back in the day, he pretended to be Hobson, using his real name just to boost his own YouTube channel. Pathetic. Pathetic. And he had that fucking hip hop page, and he also had this account where at first it wasn't him, or it was like someone pretending to be a fan of Kadeem, but it was really Kadeem. It was an account called Kadeem Smith Green that would message me when we had our first beef, and they were saying they were a fan of Kadeem and stuff. They would talk shit to me, but it was actually Kadeem who was behind that account. So he's not above having sock accounts. So I think there's a possibility he's behind those accounts. I mean, come on, those accounts haven't showed up anywhere else on my channel, and I've never seen them on Kadeem's channel. You know, with the TG Venom and Kadeem the King beef, at the end of the day, TG Venom gave his opinion. He didn't like Kadeem the King's content, and that was that. And Kadeem the King got sensitive and all offended over it. Oh, you don't like my content? I gotta diss him because of it. You're a sensitive bitch. It's exactly what you are. And it's like, you lied about TG Venom all the fucking time, all the time. You said he commented on your videos back in the day. Dude, I knew Kadeem the King's channel back in 2016, 2017. Back when TG Venom had his old username, never saw him comment on his videos. Never. And Kadeem the King, he could go into his Gmail, look for those videos, or look for the comments. Like, he could type in TG Venom or his old username, and he would be able to see it if it actually did happen. But it never did happen. He never watched him. TG Venom didn't know who you were, Kadeem, until I brought it up when we were having beef. So yeah, he's lied about TG Venom. Says, oh, TG Venom stole music. When I asked Kadeem about it back when I was cool with him, he was like, well, some of the people I know that told me about it, they didn't want to be involved in the video. It's like, what the hell are you even talking about? Like, what? Like, he lied about TG Venom, He lies about people just like he lies about me, Like with the whole bullying thing at school. He over exaggerates that shit. I was bullied in school, but it was mostly verbally. I wasn't getting dumped in the locker or change out of my pocket like he claims. Was more so bullied verbally, like people talking trash, not necessarily physically. That didn't really happen like that. And he over exaggerates that shit to the fullest. And Another thing I don't get about Kadeem is it's like okay, if I explain something or give a reason for something, he'll twist it around. I'll give just one example. Like when I talked about like my racism in that one video I made some time ago, I gave a reason for why that was something that was a part of me at one point. And back when me and Kadeem the King were cool, I had told him, the truth about that stuff. He was like, all right, I understand. But now in his recent live stream dissing me, he turns around and says, you can't blame those people or blame this for the race thing. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You, it's like, one point you say the explanation or what it means is, or you understand why it came to that point of why you had the racism thing, but then you turn around in this live stream and say you can't have that be uh your scapegoat or whatever. It's like no, like just don't make sense with Kadeem the King. It's like completely twisted around. The guy's a narcissist. And that's something. Another thing about Kadeem the King, he will talk about the same shit all the fucking time about me. Every time he's talked about me, he just repeats himself all the time. He talks about the racism shit. He talks about the bullying stuff in school, all that fucking nonsense. It's like the racism shit is such an overused tactic of his towards me because I addressed it multiple times. Did the video and I'll say it one more time in this video. I don't fucking use the N word anymore. And it was because I grew up around certain people that had certain beliefs and used the N word. Thus, I was around it, I used it, and I made the decision not to use the word anymore. Simple as that. I made the video talking about the fucking shit. Like, damn, man. It's just ridiculous. And another thing I didn't like about Kadeem the King and our friendship and what made me end the friendship, because this is a recurring issue I had with him when we were cool, something he doesn't really mention, is the fact that Kadeem wanted me to answer for my faults and the bad things I did, such as the racism crap. But when it came to the bad stuff and the crap he did, he didn't want to answer for him. He didn't want to own up to him. Like, just for example, like about TG Venom. I pressed him on something just like that and he makes jokes and says, "You have a crush on TGM." It's like, so my bad stuff I have to own up for and talk about, but your bad stuff is different. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. That's why I say fuck Kadeem the King. He's lame. He's a bitch. Fuck Kadeem the King. He's a coward. He just talks shit online. So yeah, shout out to TG Venom. I took my videos down about you, man. I apologize to you for all the nonsense that I was involved in. Beefing with you and Collab and Kadeem. I apologize for all that. It was messy, and hopefully TG Venom sees this. And I saw his video, left the comment. It was cool. It's cool to see him back in some aspect. It's good he's all right. You know, but yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about in this video. TG Venom returning, and then him talking about Kadeem the King because I was happy about that because I can't fucking stand Kadeem the King. I can't stand that motherfucker, man. I hate his guts so much. I hate that fucking guy, man. I hate him as much as Kendrick Lamar hated Drake in the beef. I hate Kadeem the King as much as 50 Cent hates Ja Rule. I'm not even joking. Like I said, a lot of the people I beef with on YouTube, I may not have real hatred for him in some aspects, but Kadeem the King, yes, I have real hatred for because the guy wouldn't own up to his stuff, but he wanted me to own up to my bad stuff. The guy was egotistical and, like I said, just twist stuff. Just like my friend Tone Legit says, Kadeem the King is a definition of a narcissist. That's what he is. And he'll accuse people of stealing stuff. I remember he commented on that fake account, Dr. J, on my Beauty of Fun Facts video saying, "Oh, you're stealing the fun facts series from me again. Oh, I'm Kadeem the King." It's like, you never even did a fun facts video, motherfucker. There's no fun facts videos on his channel. I did that shit. Or like he accused me of stealing the Drake and Kendrick Lamar video. It's like, that's a trendy topic that everybody and their mother's covering. I decided to cover it just because thought I'd get some good views, not because you did it. And then, I could use the same argument on him when I started to do merch. Then all of a sudden he's talking about how he wants to start doing merch. And then Zach D Productions sent me an image where Kadeem was trying to contact him. It's like, huh, it's funny around the time I talk about merch. So I could use the same thing towards Kadeem. But yeah, that's all I got to say in this video about TG Venom, returns, question mark, and then talking about, Kadeem the King, fuck Kadeem the King. I don't know how many more videos I'll make about him. I don't know if I will because I pretty much everything I needed to say about Kadeem the King I've said, and pretty much I've won this beef because I showed up to fight him, he didn't. In the story. And then the last thing I'll mention before I end this video, check out the Fiverr creator in the description. He made the thumbnail for this. I just thought I'd do something different for a beef and drama video. Hey, get a Fiverr thumbnail. It's pretty cool. Check him out on Fiverr. The last thing I want to say, Kadeem the King's trying to say that I flagged his videos, that I flagged his channel, and I was trying to flag his Death Blow diss. That's fucking bullshit. I never did that. And there's gonna be proof at the end of this video that I didn't do it when you look at my report history. He's a lying ass motherfucker. Peace out, and here's the proof.